All right. Welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. I am Joey Calvo. Before we get started with this podcast, we're kind of indirectly dedicating this podcast to the late Bob Saget. And he's going to be he is one focus of this, of why these town halls have been happening. He lost his sister to scleroderma back in 1999, I believe. I believe it was 1999 or 2000. But he had lost his sister to scleroderma, and he has been a big fundraiser for scleroderma over these years. And I didn't know it until one of our guests, Kathy Griffin, who still is having issues getting on. Give me one moment. All right. Yeah, Kathy's got no mic, but we're going to try to get her on. But Bob Saget was a great comedian, and I did reach out to his widow not long after and try to have her come on the podcast to explain the works that Bob had done while they were together and raising money and stuff. So if you have questions for any of our guests today, please put them in the comments section on YouTube, because we are live on YouTube right now as we speak. So today, as I said, we're doing Scleroderma Town Hall number 5, and unfortunately, some of our guests are having issues connecting, but we do have Katie. She is that little icon down the bottom, but she can talk. We do have Kathy Griffin, who unfortunately can't get on camera-wise or mic-wise. And we have a new panelist today. Her name is Latasha. Welcome, first of all.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome to our interesting group that we call the Scleroderma Town Hall.
Hello, Latasha.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. So what we normally do is we explain everything. We have each of our panelists tell about how scleroderma affected them, and then we go from there. So Katie is the president of the board president of the Scleroderma Delaware Valley chapter. Kathy, even though she's not physically on here, she is one of the board members. And Latasha, we're gonna get to you in a moment. So Katie, we're gonna start with you. When you are ready to explain yourself.
Hi, Joey.
Hi.
Hi. I was diagnosed in 2013 with scleroderma. I hardly had any symptoms except for fatigue and feeling very, very cold. I still don't have a lot of skin thickening. Mine is mostly internal. GI issues, excessive dryness. I have like a Sjogren's overlap. I'm lucky so far in that I have a mild case of scleroderma. I have had several friends who have been severely affected. One of my friends that I met at one of our first educational days had to have a lung transplant. The president of our chapter died while waiting for lung transplant. And I've met many people over the years who are having a much harder time with it than I am.
Okay.
I was lucky enough to be able to retire a little bit early. Mm-hmm. The stress of the pandemic was affecting my health, and I decided that I needed to retire. So I retired, and therefore I have enough time to try to help out while I can.
Good.
And that's basically my story.
Yep. And you just became board president this past year, correct?
I believe it's been 2 years.
Okay.
And now that there has been a transition, the national organization would like all of the chapters to become national chapters rather than a combination of affiliates and national chapters. Our board voted to go with the national organization, and therefore we are no longer technically going to be called a board of directors, although I guess until we legally sign everything, we still are.
Okay.
But they're going to call us the chapter advisory committee. So I'm now the chair of the chapter advisory committee
for Delaware Valley. Okay. That's still just as good. Okay. And Latasha, go ahead and explain your story. Since you're the quote unquote new kid on the block.
Okay. My name's Natasha. I'm originally from Philadelphia. Right now I live in Maryland. So I was diagnosed in 2014. I just was complaining about my legs feeling tired and hurt and having trouble breathing. I had some discoloration on my face, but once I went to the doctor, she wanted to get some blood work done. I went to go get a CT scan, and they were like in shock, like, "Oh, your blood pressure is really high." From there, I went to the emergency room, and they kept me for about 4 days. And then I went over to Temple for about another 4 days, and that's where I found out I had scleroderma.
Okay. All right. We got Kathy. We have Kathy. Hold on. There we go. Give her a minute. Yes, we have Kathy. Yeah. We have a microphone?
Yes, we do.
Yes. Latasha, quick question for you. It just commented on the YouTube from an Angela Brown.
Oh.
She said, my baby looking good.
Thanks, Mom.
Oh, that's your mom. Okay. Welcome, Mom. Welcome to the live feed. And yes, your mom's name just went on a podcast. So congratulations. All right, Kathy, your turn.
Hi, I'm Kathy Griffin. I was diagnosed in 1995. I had hyperpigmentation on my face, hair loss, inability to go to the bathroom. I had very slow motility, and I had body aches, esophageal problems, like acid reflux and everything, and they diagnosed me. They did an ANA and a biopsy, and it came back positive.
Okay. Yep. Okay. All right. So Katie was explaining that there are no more board of directors, quote unquote, for the chapters. They're now going to be advisory boards. And Latasha, I guess another friend of yours, or Tahisha Ruffin, quoted in the chat room, my baby girl.
Yeah. First one is my godmom, and then that one is my real mom.
Oh, okay. So godmom and real mom. Okay. Welcome, ladies. Welcome. It's so great to actually state comments into a podcast. It's awesome. So, ladies, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Like I started with today, with Bob Saget passing away this too early this year. And I didn't know that he was a big fan of Scleroderma. He was doing a lot of fundraising for Scleroderma. And this was before Kathy actually sent out the video about it. I did watch it. And I did read about it when they announced he passed away. And it was amazing. I was like, wow. So I did reach out. Believe it or not, Kathy, I didn't tell you this. I started to tell everybody else. I did reach out to his widow. I got a hold of his widow.
Okay.
And I emailed her and I asked her to come on this podcast to chat about Bob and the things he did. But I never heard back from her. who knows? And I understand. She's still grieving. I mean, man of her life passes away all of a sudden of a heart attack or a stroke at 65 down in Florida, of all places. But he was a great comedian. I enjoyed him in Full House, and so that never leaves my mind. But hopefully, one day I could try to get her on one of these town halls or chat with her on the side to talk about Bob and about how how much. Well, of course, he loved his sister a lot and raised a lot of money. And at that time, there was $1.5 million match for those that donated to the Scleroderma Foundation during that time. And the tributes, I'll let you know, even are still continuing. Even as of yesterday, they were on TV of all the continuing tributes to Bob Saget. So,
yes, he was very beloved by the entertainment community.
Yep.
He did that Full House show where he was like everybody's favorite dad, a really good guy, and apparently in real life he is and was a very good guy. However, his comedy was not G-rated.
Oh yeah,
if you ever went to his show, it's not something that young kids should watch. His comedy is not G-rated. However, that takes nothing away from the fact that he, over 26-year period, raised a lot of money for the Scleroderma Research Foundation and brought a lot of awareness to the disease. Apparently, when his sister was diagnosed, it took, I think, 2 years for her to get a diagnosis. And by the time she got a diagnosis, she didn't last very long afterwards. There was, of course, back then there weren't as many treatments, and there's not a lot of great treatments now, but there were even less back then for any of the types of severe problems. So she didn't live too long past her diagnosis. And it was very hard for him to watch her go from healthy woman to really, really sick in a 3-year period. And then she didn't live too long past her diagnosis. So it greatly affected him, and he got a lot of his friends together. And over the years, I think one of his friends is a rock and roll guy, whoever he is. Who is he? Anyway,
there's John Mayer.
John Mayer, John Mayer. John Mayer says he never asked anything of you except to go on his cool comedy, hot cuisine research day. They usually do a fundraiser. I think it's once a year, generally in New York City, and he would ask his friends to do that. But, I'm really grateful that he brought awareness to the disease, and I'm sad that he's gone so early.
Yeah, it shocked all of us. I mean, it took me by surprise when I heard about it, especially on a Sunday, especially on, early morning.
But the thing is, too, I mean, if you go back, he made a movie for his sister, for Hope. If I was like 19, right after I got diagnosed, so I was like 96, 97. It's a very good movie, and see what his sister, Gay went through,
Oh yeah. And so a lot's been shaking. Like I said, I reached out to his widow, trying to get her on because I wanted her to bring more of Bob's life into focus on it. And like Katie was mentioning about reaching out and doing all this fundraising and stuff and raising all this money, and I couldn't be any more grateful about it, because like I said, it amazed me. And I've told my story about, I have a special friend who was diagnosed in 2016 with scleroderma, and we've been like the bestest of friends. And this person understands that, I try to do all I can to be a support. So one thing I always suggest to the listeners, as well as the viewers on YouTube, go to Scleroderma.org and just donate even $5. Because $5 makes a big difference. And again, I now just, and I never told this to anybody outside my Facebook group, but every year for my birthday, I have done a Scleroderma fundraiser. I don't get many donations off of it, but every year I post on my personal Facebook for people to donate to Scleroderma. So that tells you how much my life has changed in the past years, which is, because like I said, I try to do what I can to support that person that I mentioned, and, be there and be that support that person needs. The other thing is I had a classmate whose mom passed away in 20 from Scleroderma, and she had it for 20 plus years. And she's another person I got to try to reach out and try to get her on as well for her to explain her story. Kathy, I'm not going to keep you on as long because a rumor had told me that you have a support group meeting this evening. So
yep,
I'm not
at 6 o'clock. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm not going to keep you on too long. I'm probably going to make this a little bit shorter than we normally do it. Because I don't know if there's any much more, if anything has changed since our last town hall besides the passing of Bob Saget. Any updated news?
Well, we have fundraisers coming up. I'm starting with April 9th at Nifty 50 for a car show. Starting at 8 o'clock in the morning for registration.
Okay.
And then the car show goes until 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Yep. That's in Turnerville, New Jersey.
Okay. Katie, anything that Katie's munching again.
No, I'm done munching.
Any new news that we should be aware about at this time?
I'm trying to find it. There was a new drug that was the first FDA approved drug, orphan drug for scleroderma.
Okay.
For this drug is, I think there have actually been other drugs, but this one is specifically targeting skin thickening.
Mm-hmm.
The fibrosis that can cause a lot of disability.
Okay.
People get such tightness in their skin that they can't move their joints. They can't lift their arms above their head to get their shirt on, that type of thing. They have trouble grasping a doorknob to turn it because they can't get their hands straightened out. Various other types of problem where if your skin gets really tight, it's even just hard to breathe. So there is a new drug that was FDA approved for that.
Okay.
And they're in third phase clinical trials for an add-on drug, I believe, called Seleximab for pulmonary hypertension.
Okay.
So there are some new drugs coming along the way. I wish I could find that, but it's hard to stay on this, and I don't remember which web browser I was on.
Okay.
But
you go to the next one, Katie.
Let me see if I can find it. I'll be right
back
with you.
Okay. So in the meantime, another thing that I've stressed to my friend is, and because I just went through it myself, COVID. If you watched my last video podcast at the beginning of the year, I did one that I was diagnosed with. I was tested positive on January 2nd for COVID-19. Spent 24 hours, almost 24 hours in the hospital. And they gave me remdesivir, took care of that. And I was like fine, but the fever came back a couple days later. And I was fully vaccinated before the booster. So that was the only thing that got me with that was not having the booster yet. And I just got the booster 2 weeks ago. So we're back. We're getting back to 100% slowly, but still having the little aches and pains. So, Latasha, by any chance, did you get vaccinated and boosted?
I did get vaccinated, but I haven't got boosted yet.
You haven't got boosted yet. Okay. And I'm not a doctor, but I do suggest. I'm not Joe Rogan. Why should be listening to this podcast and coming after me for that statement? But please get vaccinated, get boosted. I state that because it's not only saves your life but others. And I'm actually still trying to figure out how I got it, which surprised me. I've actually stated to myself, and I'm starting to state this in a way that might surprise people. Omicron is actually the virus, the mutation that gets everybody that hasn't gotten it yet. It's coming in for the sweep. Now there's supposed to be another variant of that.
Another thing. Yeah, it's more contagious.
Yeah. And this one got me. But I did go back to work and stuff.
Well, also, Joey, if you look at the medical information on the vaccines, it doesn't say that you won't ever get COVID.
Right.
What it says is it will prevent severe disease and hospitalization and death.
Right.
So many people are getting Omicron, even if they're vaccinated and boosted, but they're not dying from it.
Right.
And they're most of them, unless they have other serious medical issues, which honestly some of us with scleroderma have.
Yeah.
But unless they have other comorbidities, they're usually not ending up in the hospital. They're able to handle it at home.
Right.
I'm a nurse. I would say follow the science and get yourself vaccinated and get yourself boosted.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you won't ever get the disease, but it could very well save your life.
Right. And like I said, I learned that because I have asthma and sleep apnea. And when I went to the ER that day, it was more that I was having trouble breathing than anything else. And when they did that, they said, "Oh, we're going to do a COVID test and all that." Let's go for it. And that's when they told me that I had it. And then I had a 103.7 fever. And I was like, what? I was like blown out of the water on it. But I'm glad I got through. It was an SOB to relax for 10 days. But I did finally get myself out after that. And we're slowly back to normal.
Joey, I got it last year, and I was in the hospital for 2 months.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And I was on oxygen. I was very sick. You have to learn how to walk again and everything. Yeah, it's not good.
Oh, yeah.
And you're in the room all by yourself, and nobody wants to come in there. I mean, the nurses come in there with goggles on, all taped up and everything, and your doctors don't even come in.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off here since there's nothing else new. If you know anybody that was diagnosed with scleroderma, please get them checked. Please get them evaluated. If you need more information, go to scleroderma.org. It's running at the bottom of the banner at the bottom. And now next month we may not do a Scleroderma Town 6 because the podcast is actually traveling next month.
Okay.
So unless we do it early in the month, then but we'll leave that up in the air for that. But I will say the podcast is traveling next month, and hopefully, I should have done it last year, but hopefully we will be doing a podcast from Vegas in March. everything is looking good so far. I'm just waiting for everything to fall into place so that it can be done. I'm spending 2 nights in Vegas at the Rio, and with a Las Vegas Strip view. So I'm going to try to do a podcast from there. So definitely check it out. I probably I may not be able to do the StreamYard. I haven't decided yet. I might do it. I may be able to do it, but it'll be separate from a regular podcast. But definitely it's going to get done. It was supposed to. I should have done it last year, and I feel bad I didn't.
Well, just let us know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Kathy will find out. I'm leaving the 20th.
Okay.
And I'm actually coming back the 23rd.
Okay.
Actually, well, the podcast will probably be either the 20th or the 21st.
Okay.
It'll be either Sunday. No, it might be a Monday or Tuesday. Because it's a 3-hour time zone. I keep forgetting, 3-hour time zone, East Coast to West Coast. So, but thank you, ladies, for coming on as always. Thank you to those that commented on the YouTube live feed. Appreciate that. And Latasha's very happy and says thank you to both of you for posting. Makes our day. And thank you all for listening and watching the Live with Joey Calvo YouTube podcast. God bless you all. Take care.
Yep.
Have
Take
a good
care.
day, everybody.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.